good evening, race fans, and welcome to the NORA Truck Series 2023 Season 5, Race 10 of 26, presented by Abby Sweet Treats Home Bakery, live on VirtualRacing.Network. Tonight, it is another historic raceway, this time one like a phoenix rising out of the ashes. It's North Wilkesboro Speedway, back in the NASCAR circle, and it's so great to be back here tonight with the NORA Truck Series. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and I will be joined tonight by none other than Christian Snyder. Great to have him with us alongside here at this 0.62 mile oval. It's exactly 1 kilometer, 70 laps in the first stage, 140 in the second stage, and 250 in the third. Welcome to the show here, Christian, and what do we have in store for us tonight here at North Wilkesboro?
Oh, we got short track racing at its best tonight. This track, oh man, I've watched the Dale Jr. Series, Lost Speedways, and it was a mainstay on that show. Well, and he was able to get a group of guys together, fix this track up, and man, I love that it's back. I bought it as soon as it was available on iRacing. I've always had a thing for this track, so can't wait to see what these guys do here tonight. This is the first time for NORA, so let's see what they can do with it. And it's a little bit sunny out there, so the track's pretty hot, so it's a little slick out there.
Well, and some other interesting components here, of course. Great to get back to short track racing. As you mentioned, it is going to be a little slick out there. It's a wide enough track. It's not too difficult to get around somebody here, but also uphill on the backstretch and downhill on the front stretch. A unique configuration. This track built in 1950, I believe it was, originally as a dirt track, and it saw 2 races a year, if you can believe it, all the way until 1996. Now, Christian, something interesting, historical to note, there were only 2 truck races that I could find that were actually held here. And although when you look over at the Cup side, it's like reading a legends list of the NASCAR Cup Series and all the great ones that have come before. But 2 great names that stand out that won here in the trucks before, none other than the great Mike Bliss and Mark Martin. And, of course, Mark also winning in the Cup Series, so the only driver to win both in trucks and Cup here as well, just adding to his legend status. But that's the type of raceway that this one is, an absolutely legendary one. And so let's go ahead and bring up the points as they stand right now. There you can see it on your screen. Brian Jones atop the order, and Josh Conover finding himself in second place after 9 races, and that's because Sean Briscoe facing some difficulty last race, slipping 2 spots in the order there. Timmy Harper hanging on in 4th, Jacob Gladelich in 5th place, and Torrin Schertz up there towards the top. He actually was practicing very well there earlier tonight, so possibly he'll be having another great race here. Let's go ahead and see if I can bring up the owner's points as they just start to head out there and get qualifying. There's the owner's points. Still the same at the top. The number, the Flatline Motorsports machine out there, number 17, I believe it is. Yes, 17 Flatline is at the top there. 45 for Brian Powell Motorsports in second, but that second Brian Powell Motorsports machine now climbing up there. The Ford is now up into the 3rd spot. Capital Motor Club's number 39 dropping out. So a lot of other moving and shaking throughout the field. Flatline's number 5 dropping all the way down to 17th place. So we'll keep an eye on that as the season goes on. But the boys are out there qualifying, getting ready for tonight's action. And Christian, let's go ahead and take a look on board as Josh Conover puts in his qualifying lap.
Yeah, going into turn 1, like you said, it's downhill, so this track very different. And then you can see Josh now climbing uphill on the backstretch, and that little opening in the backstretch, I always worry about that, just tagging it, because the wall does come out just a little bit on the backstretch. And I've done some practice in the Cup car this weekend, and I've tagged it a couple times. I found the wall a couple times, but you're gonna want to run the bottom lane, like right around that white dotted line on the bottom. If you get too low, you're going to hit the bump and it's going to upset the truck. So you're going to want to run right where Todd just ran right there. We're riding on board with him. You want to get into the corner, get underneath that white line. Maybe he's running above it, but I would usually run below it. And let's see where this slots Todd here, as I believe he's starting his second lap here.
He's just finished that second lap, and that's going to put him there in 14th position, so not a bad place to start. Let's go ahead and ride on board here with Jacob Gladelich as he gets in his first lap. See if there's any difference in his line. He does manage to get it just below that dotted white line there in the first and second corner, bringing it around through 3 and 4. Gladelich, already a race winner here in the NORA Truck Series, brings it up onto the start-finish straight, and he'll climb up to only 19th fastest. Jump over to Cody Reeder here for KPR Motorsports, another terrific runner in the NORA Truck Series. He's had so much success already. Will we see him jump higher? Yes, we do. We see him jump up to that 7th position. Let's see if we can get the tower working. There we go. Finally wants to pop up there. Just as we get on board there, it is up to 7th for Cody Reeder, and you can also see Ronnie Norman slotting into 5th. Timmy Harper taking the top spot so far. Josh Conover also in there. Here's another newcomer to the broadcast tonight, but no newcomer to NORA. It's Blake Freeman out there out of Houset, Texas. 38-year-old. Shoot. He's part of the Old Timers Club just like me. Racing for Nightmare Motorsports, and looks like he's just coming up to speed, not trying to work those tires too much, and going to get a nice, easy first lap in. I'm not sure if he's fully up to speed in that number 43 Nightmare machine. I think just kind of taking it easy, getting in a qualifying effort, and he knows that if he can get one in, he'll actually start ahead of 4 other drivers who have yet to put in a qualifying time.
Yeah, this is kind of an odd strategy. I would think track position is the main thing that we're going to go for tonight, but he's obviously wanting to start in the rear by running a little bit slow on the laps here. Which is allowed. You're obviously able to do that as long as you set a qualifying time or attempt to. No harm, no foul. So he's going to attempt the time here, and that's going to slot him toward the rear of the field in 22nd.
So 22nd fastest, the best that he can do. Here we've got another driver, Corey Raboyne, joining us.
Yeah, he has been in the series before. He is running independent. As of this race, he does not have a ride in the series. He's looking for one, I'm sure. Or he could be, one of those guys that just likes to run by himself. So but we'll see him more throughout the season. I believe we saw him toward the end of last season. So I believe this is his first race this year.
And indeed, he jumps up to
he's gonna loop
23rd and just barely exits out there before the... well, actually, that's the end of qualifying. So let's go ahead and get you the official gridding order for tonight's race. Of course, this is presented by Abby's Sweet Treats. Abby's Sweet Treats, home bakery, as you can see there on your screen. You got baseball cookies. It's that time of year. Chocolate chip cookies. Easter just happened. I saw so many new ones over on her Facebook. I haven't gone and grabbed them yet, but if you want to see, Abby's posting all kinds of new cookies and confections and things that she makes that you can order. There's chocolate peanut butter brownies. There's Abby. She'll be crafting your goods. There it is on the screen. Feel free to give her a shout. Over in Plymouth, Minnesota, it's 812-264-1624, abcobb@gmail.com. And, of course, on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. And she will ship those goodies right out to you. I'm looking forward to getting mine this week for the Indy 500. And I will be glad to get some photos in there for everyone to see. So let's go ahead and check out the starting order for tonight's round number 10 for the NORA Truck Series 2023 Season 5 at North Wilkesboro. Starting on the pole will be Tim Harper for Harper Motorsports. And starting in second spot Alongside will be Josh Conover for Flatline Motorsports. On the second row will be Sean Briscoe for the Capital Motor Club, and alongside him will be Brian Jones for Brian Powell Motorsports. On that third row, Ronnie Norman for JRC Sim Team, and alongside Mark Bremkamp for BS Motorsports. On the fifth row, Cody Reeder for KPR Motorsports, and alongside him will be Eric Sable. Eric, you got to put a circle around that guy. He is a lightning bolt waiting to go off at any point. Here's Brady Moats, going to be starting in 9th place for Ready to Wreck Racing. He's either ready to win or ready to wreck, and definitely we'll find out tonight. Starting next to him will be Dylan Walterman. Nick Eilis going to be starting in the 12th position, and alongside him will be Torrin Shirts. Moving to the back half of the grid, we've got Craig Schroeder for Capital Motor Club and Matthew George for Flatline Motorsports. Keegan Bitzer and Todd Slauson, Cody Dorsey and David McGuire, Chad Engel, Andrew Stab, Jacob Gladelich in 21st. Alongside him will be Corey Danielson, Corey Raboyne in 23rd, and Blake Freeman will be starting in 24th. And 25th, Christopher Heights, and alongside him will be Brad Fulham for Full Send Motorsports. So, you know, Christian, your Full Send Motorsports not starting out too great here at North Wilkesboro, but of course it's a short track, it's a long race. Drivers can do a lot from wherever they start. What are you thinking about tonight? Who do you have your eye on for a potential win?
I believe anyone in the top 10, maybe, you know what, maybe in the top 30, since everyone out here has a chance to win here. It's about survival tonight, so whoever survives the best and keeps the truck cleanest is going to win this race, because it's going to be one of those races. They're going to beat each other up, and we are green here. Timmy Harper on the loud pedal, going side by side with Conover. The outside can work. Let's see if Josh is able to get him here.
Well, he holds tight on that outside line, and there's Brian Jones just behind. And now we've got Conover still trying to get around on that outside, so he's holding tight. Like you said, the outside line working just fine. There is Brian Jones still following in that third spot, holding off Sean Briscoe on the inside line. We look a little bit further back. There's Mark Bremkamp for BS Motorsports. He's doing quite well, holding up there in the top 5, but we do have a yellow flag.
Here.
Yep, it is Corey Danielson with a problem back there on the backstretch. And I also see that it looks like started from the pits. Christopher Heights and Brad Fulham both started from the pits as well. So
yeah, they were not able to get a qualifying time in, and therefore had to start from the pits. So that caution kind of saved them, because Brad Fulham was right on the front bumper of Josh Conover as that caution came out.
Well, this is what took place just a moment ago for Corey Danielson, exiting onto the backstretch. And that truck just launched towards the inside fence and did a quick 360 and came back out and nailed the outside wall. So that number 19 for Corey Danielson going to need some immediate repairs. Take a look maybe one more time on board for Corey. See what it looked like as he exited. And just put down maybe a little bit too much juice for those cold tires.
Yeah, just a little bit too much throttle on exit there. You are heading uphill, so it's less likely to get loose out of turn 2 than it is out of 4 whenever you're about to go downhill. But it did snap out from underneath him. And he made significant contact with that guardrail, so I don't know how badly that engine's going to be damaged, but it is not going to be perfect.
Well, one of our Toyotas in the group, and he does manage to get it repaired enough that he's going to send it back out there. Crack pit crew over there at Capital Motor Club getting things bandaged up and back underway. In the meantime, it is Josh Conover who did lead at the end of that green flag stretch, and so Conover taking the lead from Tim Harper. Brian Jones into second, and they're not going green this time by, as you can hear. So I think we'll look forward to just one more lap under yellow here. And of course, So great to have you joining us here, VirtualRacing.Network. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and I'm joined here by Christian Snyder. And it's always great to have all of our people over in YouTube. So if you're out there, please check in with us. Let us know you're watching along. It's always great to see the same regulars, but always great to see new people as well. If you're not a subscriber here at VirtualRacing.Network, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the like as well. It helps all of us out. And you'll certainly get lots more NORA Truck and Cup action in there. Tomorrow night, it's going to be a blast with the All-Star race, Christian.
Man, will it ever. A 60-lap open to start out tomorrow with about 20 cars trying to make it in, and only 2 of them make it in. Oh, man, there's going to be a lot of tempers flaring in that race.
Should be exciting stuff. You won't want to miss it. 8:25 Eastern Time right here on VirtualRacing.Network. You might as well subscribe and hit the notify button. Then you'll get notified immediately before. We are green here at North Wilkesboro once again. And Josh Conover leads the way. Brian Jones still looking for that second spot on track. He runs that high line. Riding on board with Jones now, who tucks in behind Timothy Harper.
I think we've seen this before, this dance with these two.
They do have some history. They have touched, banged, swapped paint, however you want to say it. They've done it multiple times, and they've gotten in trouble for it too. So as we see just behind, Sean Briscoe having to fend off a feisty Mark Bremkamp, trying to challenge on that outside line. Maybe there is something to this outside line business.
Yeah, I was told in pre-race from a couple of the drivers that they can make the outside work. I didn't believe it. I never could get it to work in the trucks. So, I thought this was going to be a one-lane bump to pass type of racetrack, but we just saw Mark Bremkamp complete the pass on Briscoe on the outside.
Well, and just like you and I were talking about ahead of the broadcast, perhaps the trucks and the cups running very, very different here. The next-gen NASCAR next-gen machines that we'll be seeing tomorrow night in the NORA Cup Series, very different handling, and perhaps the truck's able to race a little bit more too wide, a little bit more free. But either way, we do have another yellow, I believe. Let's see.
I saw a white truck on the apron there on the backstretch. Couldn't make out who it was.
I know Keegan Bitzer went off track, and that's my note. Let's go ahead and take a look here at our replay. Keegan Bitzer in that number 5. There he goes around. Amazon truck, not making any deliveries that way. We'll have to take a look, I think, at the chopper cam, see if we can tell exactly what took place there. But Bitzer there in that number 5. Does he just light it off coming out of the corner the same way? And he does. So
yeah, same exact way as Corey there.
So cold tires affecting these drivers, at least a couple of them each time. And that brings out our second caution of this evening. Brady Moats taking the opportunity to come in, maybe do a little splash and go. Oh, I do see some damage already on that machine.
Yeah, that is pretty rough damage. It looks like maybe he got into the wall off of 4 or 2, because that is pretty significant. That doesn't seem like just a scrape of the wall on the backstretch. That seems like he whaled the wall on exit.
Absolutely. I mean, for some of these drivers, I'd say they should just go ahead and do their paint jobs this way, where they're already all rubbed off, because they're going to end up that way before too long anyway. But Brady Moats ready to wreck. Well, maybe he's ready to wreck tonight. Maybe he's ready to wreck, and then maybe he's ready to win. We'll have to see. Long race ahead of him. Josh Conover, though, putting in a great effort already for Flatline. Hey, he's starting to feel it, too. You know, he's up into second place, and I think you were saying to me, Christian, his goal is to win this championship.
Yeah, not only the championship, but the regular season championship as well, because that's 15 playoff points to kind of help him through. We've seen the bonus point section of the standings be kind of dominated by, I believe it was I want to say Reeder. No, Brian Jones. I believe Brian Jones has the most bonus points. So Josh needs as many stage wins as he can get and the regular season championship to get the extra 15 playoff points.
All of those playoff points coming in handy as we get towards the end of this regular season championship, as you mentioned. It's getting to the point where some of these drivers are going to start to sweat it out. I mean, as you get back towards the back, I know a couple of your full send motorsports drivers want to get up there into that top 16. I know a number of these other drivers just sitting on the outside and thinking, if I can just get a couple of good runs in, I'll be right up there and I can be in the playoffs at the end of this one. What do you do, Christian, if you're just sitting outside, you're ready to get up there into the top? I mean, is there anything special you can do here as we get towards the end of this regular season?
You gotta find a way to win because at the end of the day, when you're into the playoffs, you're guaranteed a spot. So any way you can do that, strategy, staying out late, short pitting, whatever you can do to try to flip the script, basically, and get yourself a win. That's going to be the main way that like guys outside the top 15 are going to guarantee their spot.
So get up there, take your chance, get a victory. It's the one way to go, and I think that's the best type of advice you can have is just don't look back, go out there, race for it, and get the win. We are green. Barney the Flagman waves the flag in the air. We are going again here at North Wilkesboro.
And Josh Conover has elected the outside every restart so far, and you can see it's benefiting him. He has about maybe a 2-truck length over Tim Harper and Brian.
Well, you can see side by side there for Harper and for Jones.
We got trouble.
We do have trouble, and I thought I saw
They
Ronnie
saved it.
Norman in it, and they're still kind of wrecking back here. Now 3 wide, a little bit further back. See a number of these drivers. Nick Geilis starting to slide back a couple of positions, and now starting to come back forward. That's a beautiful-looking machine that he has there. I see that Brady Moats possibly having a problem. There he is sitting low on the track, and just able to get that one going again.
Yeah, now we got the leaders coming around him on the outside. He's going to have to merge back into this group, and we have seen in the past that lap cars cause a little bit of trouble, and we can see now Timmy Harper gets blocked there by Brady Moats, and now a caution comes out here.
And a caution is out. I believe it's Cody Dorsey himself having an incident, but the good news is if he's injured, he will get paid to miss work. So let's jump back here and see what happened to Cody Dorsey running that number 38 next to that beautiful number 24 machine, and looks like I couldn't tell if he made contact with the 24 of Nick Geilis. We'll have to see once again from overhead here and see if we can tell exactly what took place. But looking overhead,
looks like he just gets loose.
He does just get loose. It's that same effect, except this time on the front stretch. Just getting on the tires a little bit too much. Let's jump back on board and see if we can tell riding on board exactly what happens here. Really a little difficult to tell. It looks like he tries to gas it, but didn't really sound like the engine spun up too much. But either way, difficulties for Cody Dorsey in that number 38 for Harper Motorsports, and that will sideline him. He's actually just getting rolling once again. He's going to try to beat the pace car out. So Conover, though, running a smooth show here as we're just 10% of the way through this race. Leading the group and doing a fine job so far, not really challenged from the back. Brian Jones having a solid race so far in second place. He's marched 2 spots forward. Tim Harper started in second place. He's only fallen back 1. It's to Brian Jones, so that's certainly understandable. One of the best racers in all of NORA. But Timmy Harper looking to stay up there in the points, and I think he wants a win. That way he can make sure he gets into the playoffs, but I'm pretty sure on points he'll be okay. Mark Bremkamp doing a great job, up 2 spots already, running in 4th place. And Sean Briscoe was the points leader not very long ago, now sitting in 3rd in those points. And I know he's not real concerned about making the playoffs, but you know he'd like to get back up there into victory circle, Christian.
Oh, I believe everybody in the field wants to get into victory circle. You were saying about Timmy wanting to win to lock himself in. Timmy just wants to win. Even if he wasn't running for championship points, he wants to win every time he's out on that track, and he puts it all on the line. So, you know, Sean Briscoe, he's had a couple of weeks in a row that have not been good for him, and he is just looking for a smooth race today.
Absolutely, and we're going to see whether or not he can manage to climb up there and get that victory that he was kept out of last week. Steven Dombrowski checking in with us over on YouTube, saying he loves that Gordon throwback, longtime fan of the 24, and without a doubt, just one of those great drivers that has seen so much action here at North Wilkesboro, of course. Gordon, one of the best and biggest champions in the Cup Series. I'm going to take a look back here. I don't know he did win one of the races in 1996.
I was about to say he was the last person to win here.
That is very accurate. He is the very last driver to have won. Just taking a look at those stats right now. So how appropriate for Nick Gillis to be running that paint job here tonight. Will it bring him a little bit of extra luck? Well, could. What? It doesn't hurt, you know?
Yeah, he sure hopes so.
I'm sure he does. Nightmare Motorsports has some great running, you know, in the NORA Truck and Cup Series. They've managed to do some really great things, but I think they'd like to see some more consistency at the front. Right now, furthest forward car for Nightmare Air Truck is 14th for Nick Gillis, but we'll see whether or not he can sneak further up there. In the meantime, we are green once again here at North Wilkesboro, and side by side, Tim Harper retakes that position in 2nd place from Brian Jones.
Yeah, I believe Timmy selected the inside lane on the choose cone and is going to get by Brian Jones here. Now Bremkamp, he's going to try to take advantage of it as well here. Brian Jones sticking out pretty tough on the outside. He might be able to, you know, clear Timmy here. Still side by side off turn 4. A little bit of lap traffic up ahead here.
Absolutely, some lap traffic coming up. That will definitely play a role in some of these drivers trying to get around each other. Brian Jones able to just squeak ahead of Tim Harper. Bremkamp sitting there off of the quarter panel. Now goes outside, inside on Tim Harper. Here comes Mark Bremkamp. He's knocking on the door for 3rd. He gets a little wiggle off the corner. Bremkamp sticks it in there in turn 3 and holds tight through turn 4.
Yeah, I think right now the outside lane actually might be the place to be. I mean, we saw Brian Jones pass Tim Harper on the outside, and now Timmy is going to defend from Bremkamp on that outside. Now you see Briscoe. He sees what's going on. He's going to the outside of Bremkamp as well.
Sean Briscoe in that 39 for in and out. Now taking a look on the outside of Bremkamp. Bremkamp, he gave it all that he could. They race side by side now for that 4th position. Briscoe just edging ahead. Bremkamp really struggling here.
Yeah, last 3 laps very loose for that 78.
Absolutely. This is quickly growing into a slidey race, as you were talking about at the start of the broadcast. We got some more side-by-side action back here. Looks like Dylan Walterman seeing Cody Reeder just in front there. Cody was just trying to pass Torrin Schertz, and as I mentioned, Schertz now up 4 positions. He practiced very well earlier on, one of the fastest trucks in the practice. And right now, he's trying to move his way up. Boy, you see some of these trucks really loose off of these corners.
Yeah, that was Bremkamp again off of turn 2, getting really sideways.
Well, you know, they say loose is fast until it goes into the wall. So run it as loose as you can, I guess. But right now, loose is not looking fast. It's looking slow for Mark Bremkamp. Sliding.
Yeah, he is definitely struggling.
Sliding up the track. There comes Torrance Shirts on the inside. That number 33 looking to possibly take that position.
Ooh, we had a slide on back there. Dylan Walterman kind of drifted into the corner there, but he was able to keep it straight here. Is now Reeder right on the back of Bremkamp.
Cody Reeder taking a look at the back of Bremkamp. Bremkamp is just all over the place with that truck. He can't be happy with that machine as he is riding up the track, and now he's going to lose a couple more positions. Matthew George having a problem a little bit further back. Manages to collect it.
Contact.
We'll go back and review this one. As Matthew George having an issue. Let's go back and take a look. There he is racing side by side with Nick Geilis. Two of those throwback paint jobs. And it looks like, well, two trucks trying to occupy the same place at the same time.
The 24 and the 3 have a long history out on the track in real life, you know, with Dale and Jeff Gordon. They were friends off of it, but on the track they were rivals. And kind of coming true here in NORA there. I mean, it looked like Geilis just slid up the track a little bit more than he was expecting, got into the side of Matthew George, but no harm, no foul. I think Matthew George should be fine for the rest of the day here. Not too much damage on that truck.
Well, unfortunate business there, as it does, it does put us into another caution, but it does give a lot of chances for these drivers to head on down pit road and get some service done. First one to get in and out is Brian Jones. Second is Corey Raboyne. And third is Cody Reeder. Dylan Walterman also getting in and off of pit road. Christopher Heights, Keegan Bitzer, David McGuire, Chad Engel, Dick Geilis, Brady Motes, and Matthew George all seeing pit road under that caution. So we're going to take a moment here to catch our breath. It's been a lot of great action so far here at North Wilkesboro. Come on back with us here in just a second. We won't leave you waiting for any more great green flag action. Stay tuned. And welcome back here to North Wilkesboro Live, iRacing NORA Truck Series on VirtualRacing.Network. Just getting green again here. Nope, we're going to stay yellow, I think, for one more lap. All right. Just one more lap under yellow as these drivers get ready to unleash one more time. And Christian, so far, we've seen a couple of really interesting things so far tonight. The outside line seems to be really working well for some of these drivers. And some of these drivers here, their trucks are loose and all over the place.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually surprised the outside's working as well as it is tonight. But yeah, we saw Bremkamp very sideways that entire run. And obviously, the one had a couple issues as well. But we're going to see if Josh Conover can again hold off on this outside lane. Oh, yeah. By at least 2 truck lengths he's able to here.
But you notice who's up into that third spot. He hasn't been there all night, but he is now there. The number 39, Sean Briscoe, up into third. Torrin Shirts also up 7 spots now into 4th. And I tell you what, I think we're just starting to see who really enjoys short track racing. I tell you what, here's Timmy Harper. He's going to give a good challenge to Josh Conover coming off the corner. Not able to try to stuff it in there for position yet, but he makes it known that he is interested in that top position.
Yeah, the thing I'm going to be looking for this run here, we saw a lot of trucks come into pit road, get 4 fresh tires. I want to see how long it takes them to get to the front of the field, because a lot of drivers are going to be paying attention to that. How good are the tires, and are they necessary?
Exactly right. Going to have to be watching for all of that strategy. When's the right time to come in for tires? When is the best time to stay out there? A lot of these drivers, of course, chose to not come into the pits, so we'll keep an eye on that. Basically, the top 10 sticking out there, and we'll see when those tires do start to wear off. Meantime, look at all this action in the middle of this pack. We've got Brad Fulham there, up 12 spots for Full Send Motorsports in that number 91, currently running in 14th position. There's Andrew Stabb, 17-year-old out of Omaha, Nebraska. He's given it a great run. There he is hanging on the outside. Andrew really doing a fabulous job, up 9 spots, currently racing in 11th. Todd Slauson just behind, also part of that Full Send Motorsports stable. He's up 3 spots. So your Full Send drivers, they may not have started so great, but they are marching forward here. It's starting to look like a short track runaway for Full Send if they can get forward. We see Bremkamp loose again. This truck, I think it's got ice for wheels and is missing rubber.
Yeah, and I think one of the causes of that, all these drivers, they run different setups for the wheel, the steering ratio, steering offset. Clearly, he had a misjudgment on the setup there. While it is a fixed setup, there are a few things that you can adjust, and he may have went the wrong way on adjustments there.
Well, we see Chad Engel there racing at the center of your screen in that number 90 or 69 car, but he is moving forward in a hurry. That number 22 as well for Todd Slauson just behind. In that Little Caesars livery, very easy to tell. I can tell what he had for dinner tonight. Bringing it forward, and we don't know. Is it the crazy kind of night for Todd Slauson where we see him on that high line and be able to bring it up to the front? Either way, we saw some 3-wide action not long ago. Cody Dorsey having a moment. Looks like this was just a second ago here. I think he just pulls it down onto the low lane and then has to pull it in. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Dorsey, but he's sitting in the pits. And meanwhile, back up front, nothing has happened between these two. It's Josh Conover in front, Timothy Harper in second place. Brian Jones has taken that 3rd spot, though, from Sean Briscoe. So I'm wondering what Go ahead.
He's got fresh tires, so this isn't going to last long until he is back in the lead. So this is a sign that every chance you get to get 4 tires, get them, because here comes Brian Jones.
Absolutely right. Here comes Jones in a hurry, taking a look underneath Timothy Harper. Wonder if he's got the speed to do it on this lap. He's going to poke his nose in there. And I mean, they're pretty much a sit and duck at this point. There's not much these drivers on these older tires can do to hold off the hard-charging Brian Jones. He leads the points for a reason. He knows what to do when it comes time to make those calls for strategy. But here he is, side by side with Josh Conover. Takes that position, and it's Brian Jones back to the lead here in North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, I think if we get a caution before this stage here in 10 laps, the call is going to be to pit. That way you don't have to pit at the end of the stage, and you can just stay out and have the track position. Because about 15 to 20 laps on the tires isn't enough that you need 4 tires. But you're going to certainly want them. But I don't think it's necessary as, oh, man, really loose for Dylan Walterman there.
Walterman, that is about as loose as you ever want to get with one of these trucks. That thing was almost pointed 90 degrees to the left there. But he does manage to get that Alpine Stars all pointed in the right direction. And in front, though, Eric Sable, he's been a phenom so far in the NORA Truck and Cup Series. It's great to have him in here, but right now struggling a little bit compared to where we are used to seeing him up at the very front. Just running in 6th position. He has gained a couple of spots, but up in front, here's another one of those drivers who practiced well, and he's making a pass. He doesn't have the fresh tires, but there's Torrance Shirts going right underneath Sean Briscoe. So Shirts now trying to get it done on the low line.
Yeah, he's trying to get it done on the low line, but I still think the outside lane, whenever you try to pass, the outside lane has a better chance of holding off, because whenever you're on the inside underneath the truck, you can't use all the track, whereas the guy on the outside can use every bit that he can.
Indeed, that is, you got to use every bit of the track. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he slid right up in front of him and right behind them. Dylan Walterman again. He's
there.
Around
We've got
time.
Yeah. Walterman is around, and unfortunately,
no.
There goes the 22 of Todd Slauson, and I can see a trail of smoke coming out, and that's not good smoke coming from that Little Caesars machine. He's not cooking anything under that hood. That machine is roasted.
Yeah, and the pizza that was in the oven is now burnt.
Yep. Well, that's how quick it goes from promising to a burnt pizza for Todd Slauson. Unfortunate stuff here in the NORA Truck Series. We're going to have to take a look and see exactly what happened. We saw Walterman really struggling with that truck. Let's back it up here, and we'll watch from the chopper, and we can tell exactly what takes place. But Walterman gets sideways just as he had done, and there I think it's Sable who gets into him as he came back around, manages to clip another truck. There the 42, I believe, gets around, and there you can see Slauson right into the side. And
yeah, I don't know if that was a failure to know that there was a wreck up ahead, or maybe he couldn't see, but Todd came in there pretty hot.
So I think it might have been Brady Moats who got into Walterman. Let's go back and check it out from Moats' point of view. Actually, this is from Walterman's point of view. There you can see him punching the inside wall, coming out, just getting absolutely slammed there twice. Oh, my goodness.
He had no idea that truck was sitting there.
No idea whatsoever. We go back.
You can see Andrew Staub was right in front of him, and he couldn't see past him. And it just kind of caught him off guard that there was a truck sitting still there.
Now imagine you're racing from the back here, Brady Moats.
Oh, it looks like he got help from behind.
Very possibly help from behind from one of the drivers, and he gets sent around as he checks up for the incident. Brady Moats, more like a ping pong ball out here in that incident, and certainly living up to the team name, Ready to Wreck. So I'm trying to see here. We've got a new leader here. David McGuire, who pitted earlier, pitted last on lap 40, and just behind him, Corey Raboyne. Sticking in there are two independents on the same strategy, deciding to stay out. And as a result, are they going to take this first stage?
No, I believe at the moment of caution, that's when the stage is decided. So I'd have to check to be sure, but I'm about 98% sure that caution was the stage.
Well, we'll check and see on that one. In the meantime, we do have a new official leader, and I don't think he is going to pull it into the pits. Checking over in YouTube, Steven Dombrowski says, the only time I'll be happy seeing the 24-knot win is if Norman gets the W. Well, it's time to get the obligatory Ronnie Norman. Where in the race is Ronnie Norman? There he is in ninth place. Well, David McGuire leads us back to the green flag, and we
had a huge stack up. A lot of trucks getting into each other. You can see Jacob Gladelich with a lot of damage on the nose. I think a lot of trucks just got involved in that one there.
So up a little bit further in the order, Things got a little bit stacked up. Tim Harper, though, marching very quickly to that lead as we were looking back through the rest of the field. Eric Sable in second, David McGuire in third, Cody Reeder in fourth, and Brian Jones back there in the fifth position. Now racing side by side, that's Reeder and McGuire. McGuire in that bright green machine. Cody Reeder for KPR Motorsports now coming forward. There's Brian Jones tucked in behind. He's going to follow Reeder up into that fourth spot. So move McGuire back to fifth, although McGuire having a great night tonight. As he races now side by side, McGuire does with Josh Conover. Conover looking to take that position, so back into fifth place for Conover. Conover, of course, he was in second place before he pitted for that caution, and now we've got another caution. This time for Jacob Gladelich. So things going from bad to worse for the number 14 Drift King.
Yeah, he was involved in that restart pile up there, and that's where the front end damage happened, and it kind of set him back in the field, and then we can see what happens here.
Well, let's take a look. This was the green flag. Let's watch what happens to Jacob Gladelich, and right around him as it gets checked up.
Yeah, you can see the 75, the 78, and the 14 all getting stacked up, and a lot of damage to the 14 from that.
He got right into the back of Bremkamp, and that definitely playing a role. You see it was already bent in by this point. Then they go three wide through the corner with Geilis in that 24 getting into the side of the 14. I think Geilis may have gotten a little loose there. Let's go back and
just a slight step out and got a little loose, and it just ever so slightly touches Jacob right there, and then it sent them around.
Well, it straightened Geilis right out, though. He was able to continue, but with a bit of damage. Go on board and see what that looked like from Geilis's point, actually from Gladelich's point of view. Not really much Gladelich could do. He was pretty much pointed straight forward, and you get a little love tap from the right-hand side. Around she goes. So he'll get his affairs in order for the number 14 machine on and off of pit road. Looks like he got a little bit of damage repaired. And on lap 77 here, we are under caution for the sixth time tonight. So with that, we are going to step aside here for a momentary break, catch our breath, get ready for some more green flag action coming at you real soon here on VirtualRacing.Network. Stay tuned. And we are green again here at North Wilkesboro. It's Tim Harper in the lead, Eric Sable in second, and a good fight here between Cody Reeder and Brian Jones for that third, fourth spot. Cody Reeder sticking it out there on the outside of Eric Sable. Now you see 2x2x2 all the way back. It's Cody Reeder hanging on the outside, but here comes Eric Sable back, and Brian Jones trying to get through as well. This is a tight race here, and Reeder just jams it up there to the high line. I think everybody's starting to discover that high line is the place to be, but you can still make passes on the low line. There's Jones down on that low line run. He does manage to get by Reeder. I mean, Jones is just phenomenal. He can make it work on the low line, on the high line. It doesn't matter to him where he goes.
Yeah, he is an excellent driver. He is making both lanes work. A lot of the drivers making the outside lane work. It seems like the inside lane, honestly, is a little bit looser, so that's why these guys are migrating up the hill.
Well, how about Timmy Harper opening up about a 12-car length lead now over Sable? We've got Schroeder on the backstretch in his Toyota for Capital Motor Club around. It does not bring out a caution, and he'll keep it going. This was just, let's take a look here. This was just a moment ago. Schroeder running on that inside line, coming off the corner, and around she goes again. Just gets on the gas a little too much and plunks the inside wall. Straightens it back out, but he's kind of put an extra angle on that hood that never was there before. So back to the lead, though. Tim Harper, massive lead, 1.2 seconds. He's really pulling out a fantastic run here for Harper Motorsports, and this could be the night that Tim has been waiting for. We've seen him running up there at the front, but nothing like this. This is a chance for him on a short track. Nobody can draft up to him. Nobody can necessarily gain much of an advantage on him, but he is holding really strong up there. Now, do you think that he's just possibly using up these tires a little faster than he needs to, and perhaps that's going to come back to bite him over the long run?
Yeah, he could be pushing it a little too hard too early, but I think the reason he got such a big lead there was because we saw Reeder, Sable, and Brian Jones battling so hard. They kind of let Timmy walk away with a big lead here. So we're going to see if Sable or Brian Jones are able to run him back down here.
They're going to work on running him back down, but they've got a ways to go. It is about a 1.3 second lead that Harper has over Sable. And now we take a look at Harper, who is having a good run, but he's already coming back now on Slauson, who's got that truck fixed. Good for him. I thought that thing had grenaded and it was all done. But we look a little bit further back, there is Jones and Sable still racing it out for that second position. So as long as they keep racing side by side, that's going to allow Tim Harper to keep out there in front.
Yeah, we got about 50 laps until the end of this stage, so Timmy is just loving seeing these guys side by side, because that's going to give him an even bigger lead. It was, for a while there, it was 1.2, 1.3, already up to a 1.5 now.
He continues to stretch his lead. Tim Harper having the best run of his NORA Truck Series racing season so far, and showing a little bit of what we know is possible for Tim Harper. He's quite the competitive racer, and he brings it each and every week. Usually gets caught up in some sort of an incident. Most of the time it isn't his doing, though we've seen him and Brian Jones go at it tooth and nail. Here, though, we can see Jones getting by Sable, and now perhaps they're going to be able to start trying to claw their way back into that lead on Tim Harper. A little bit further back, there's Conover, and just behind that, that's Cody Reeder, who has now slid back into that fifth spot. When we look back here, Mark Bremkamp is still somehow hanging onto that truck and up there in the top six. And there's Ronnie Norman with the Ronnie Norman fan club out there in YouTube land checking in with us. He slipped a couple of positions from where he started, but he is holding tight here in the top 10 in that 7th position. Sean Briscoe not having the typical kind of Sean Briscoe night, but you can see some damage on the tailgate of that machine.
Yeah, I believe on that restart, when we saw all those trucks piling up, he was the first truck to get damage on the rear bumper, so I think that's what that's from, but we have a caution.
This is Corey Raboyne having an issue. Trying to get to him on the track, and there he is just in front of the pace car. So let's see if we can figure out. He had just left the pits. So we'll get on with him as he leaves the pits. Now these would be cold tires, and he comes up to another truck there. I believe that's McGuire, David McGuire, and he has to take evasive action, and he just can't quite save it.
Well, I think he also got help from behind while he was trying to save it. I couldn't tell who that was. I believe Craig Schroeder in the 10 just tags him a little bit on the right rear quarter and got him around there.
Fortunately, the Drift King up there on the high side, he manages to just sneak through as well. And then Raboyne almost comes down, smashes the pace car. Actually, you can't really do that. You could drive right through that pace car.
Would be nice.
Oh, it would be so nice. Actually, it'd be great if it was like bulletproof and you couldn't hit it. I mean, either way. It does create some interesting scenarios when you're in public servers and people get bored. They go up there and hide their car in the pace car. Just part of sim racing that... wouldn't it be cool, though, if you could, like, take out the pace car? You get bored. You know, sometimes in these official races, I mean, it does get, like, you know, when you're on the 15th, 18th caution, whatever it is, you're just ready for the thing to go green. You know, there's so much back and forth on the radio. You're just trying to keep each other entertained. A lot of fun, a lot of slinging of small insults back and forth as well. But good times on the iRacing service. But here in the NORA Truck Series, great league. A lot of these drivers been racing with each other for multiple seasons. And let's take a look at the top three right now, because it's pretty exciting stuff for Christian Snyder. Matthew George now finds himself up there in the front for Flatline Motorsports. But look at this. 2 Full Send Motorsports drivers up there in the top 3, with Andrew Stabb there in second place and Brad Fulham in third.
I mean, it's not the strategy I would have picked, staying out on these old tires, but maybe they know something I don't. But I mean, it's good, you know, for TV time that they're up there, but I don't think they'll be up there long. They're on about 30 lap old tires, so Brian Jones, Harper, Sabol, they'll make pretty quick work with these guys.
Of course, Harper still right there, ready to pounce. So you got the Borla sponsorship on there. That machine has seen some better days, though. The nose on the front clip on that machine for Stabb is it's not looking like a second place runner, but hey, this is North Wilkesboro. Anything can happen. It's a short track. You don't need too much aero. The Full Send pit crew obviously feels like that's okay to run out there on the track, so
yeah, he was involved in that restart pileup as well. I believe the 78 was another victim of it, Bremkamp. I believe it was 4 total trucks, so we've already seen all 4 of them. And now we're going to see that damage is going to affect Andrew, so I'm going to see if maybe the same thing happens on this restart, and you get a stack up with Andrew not being able to get going. Hopefully he's able to launch pretty well here.
Well, Tim Harper going to be restarting in third. He had opened up a massive lead there, and he was able to get out in front by a large amount. Stabb falling backwards as Matthew George moves forwards, and there Tim Harper wasting absolutely no time, sending it under Matthew George. Harper now to the lead with Brian Jones in tow.
Yeah, and he kind of had to send it down there, because if he hesitated any, Brian Jones was going to try to get around him, so he had to push the issue. And now we see the 3 just falling back on those old tires and the damage
and
as
we
well.
Got some incredible 3 wide, 2 wide racing happening a little bit further back here in the pack. It's incredible stuff as Torrance Schertz continues to add to his total. How about Christopher Heitz for Harper Motorsports, up 19 positions right now. sitting in that 7th place, but you know what? He just set the fastest lap of the race, Tim Harper, with a 19:09 that last time by, and I think tonight Tim Harper is feeling it in that Harper Motorsports Ford.
Yeah, this is definitely a driver's track, and you know, like you said earlier, the draft isn't effective here, so this is all up to the driver, and this is where Timmy might be able to show his true colors here.
Well, Tim has been looking for a great place to showcase his ability. I often find that the short tracks really brings a lot of these drivers out who just simply excel at this sort of style of racing. A lot of drivers, you know, we were talking ahead of time, Christian. I know that short track racing isn't necessarily your thing. I know there's a lot of drivers that it isn't their thing, but right now I think Brian Jones is about to prove why he's the leader in the championship and has been most of this season, as he almost overcooks it into the corner, sending it sideways, but he'll recover from that. That was some driving there from Brian Jones to straighten that one out.
Yeah, that's going to burn up the tires, though. I mean, he stepped out pretty far, and you could see the tire smoke, and you never want that. So that overheated the tires more than likely, and he's going to have a few laps to try to get back into the groove here.
Well, in the meantime, we've got a new runner in 3rd place for the JRC Sim team. It's the Ford number 6 of Ronnie Norman, who's managed to climb up 2 spots from where he started, and there he is, up into 3rd, much to the delight of the Ronnie Norman fan club in YouTube. Cody Reeder hanging on to 4th at the moment, but don't look too far back. It's the superstar high climber of the night. 20 positions gained for that number 18 of Christopher Heights of Harper Motorsports. He's already up into the top 5 in that Snap-on truck, and he's looking for more.
Yeah, those Harper Motorsports trucks looking pretty good tonight. I'm going to have to ask Timmy where he got those engines from. I might need them on my team. But yeah, I mean, he started in the rear. He had a penalty that he wasn't able to start on the grid and had to start from pit road. So great comeback so far for Heights here.
Now racing side by side. This is some close action here. North Wilkesboro really providing a great grounds for racing side by side. We've seen 2 wide, we've seen 3 wide racing here. Here's Heights and Schertz side by side. Schertz dives down to the low line. In tow, he's got Mark Bremkamp still somehow up in this top 10 despite that loose race truck.
Anymore.
And not anymore. There he goes around. He was there. Well, and then he got it pointed around the other way. So Mark Bremkamp, he's going to have to work his way all the way back through the field again.
Yeah, it looks like Torn Shirts actually got a little bit loose there out of 4 on the straight, or maybe it was Heights, I think. Got a little bit loose and kind of just gave him a little tiny tap right there. I don't know. That didn't look like loose to me.
I'm not going
to speculate, though.
He did sort of change direction towards the left side of the track a little bit, but what caused it, I couldn't tell you. A lot of trucks coming onto pit road right now. Let's jump on down and check it out. There's Ronnie Norman, Josh Conover, Eric Sable, Sean Briscoe, David McGuire. So many trucks down here on pit lane right now. Matthew George, Andrew Stab, Keegan Bitzer, Brad Fulham. All these drivers choosing to make pit stops on lap number 118 here as we round up the corner. Here comes Ronnie Norman out of the pits first, and Josh Conover second, Eric Sable third, Jacob Gladelich fourth, and Sean Briscoe will be 5th out of the pits. And just got about 20 more laps until the end of stage number 2. So far, it's been an absolutely stellar race here. It's been round number 10 of 26 for the NORA Truck Series 2023 here at North Wilkesboro, presented by Abby's Sweet Treats Home Bakery. We're going to step aside. We'll be right back here with more action coming up. Stay tuned. And welcome back here at VirtualRacing.Network. So great to have you with us as we get pretty close to halfway through this one at North Wilkesboro. It's been a fantastic race so far. Timothy Harper has shown his way to the front, and he has been an absolutely stellar runner, taking pole position and running fantastically out in front. Brian Jones with a very uncharacteristic slow start there as Cody Reeder manages to jump him on the outside a little bit. Doran Schertz in tow there in 4th place. Christopher Heitz part of this group up here in the front. So Jones really struggled on that start. It looked like he almost missed a shift or something.
Yeah, I was going to say that everyone who has been in the lead for restarts have chosen the outside. So I think there's definitely some more grip on the outside in the restart zone. And those guys on the inside are kind of spinning tires for the entire straightaway almost. So that's going to be something to look forward to tonight. But Corey Reboyne around again, no caution here so far.
No caution. Looks like we also had Brad Fulham having an issue as well. Let's see if we can tell what happened to Fulham. Maybe it's related. And indeed, the two take each other side by side into the inside wall and wipe out. And there's not such great news for another one of your Full Send Motorsports drivers. But looks like he's back underway and racing in that 17th spot. But here comes the leader, Tim Harper, just behind Cody Reeder and Brian Jones, your top 3 at the moment. But here comes Ronnie Norman to the inside of Brian Jones on that low line. He's making it work.
And on the outside of him, though, Eric Sable, he's trying to make the outside lane work at the same time. Maybe possibly look for him to take it 3 wide as he's got a huge run here on Brian Jones, but he's going to tuck in line here. He's definitely got a fast truck there on the outside of Ronnie Norman. I believe he just cleared Ronnie here. And Ronnie's staying a little close there, not quite underneath him yet. I think Eric will clear him here off this corner and does.
And here comes a very familiar truck into the fray. Here comes Josh Conover. He's trying to figure out what lane he wants to go into as they race side by side just up in front. You can see one of those trucks. It looked like perhaps Briscoe getting into the wall. Not sure. It looked like he scraped that wall on exit, but there Andrew Stabb able to stick around up in that 9th spot. Now 3 wide as they go through the corner between Schertz, Briscoe, and Stabb. And now Briscoe and Schertz racing for it just up in front. Here's another battle that's going on. It's Brian Jones and Eric Sable up in front for 3rd and 4th position. They have been raging at this battle side by side. I love how this track is racing. This is one of the best short tracks for racing I have seen. It has just given all kinds of different opportunities to these drivers to race side by side for a good deal of laps. And they're finally Sable able to win that battle temporarily. Moves his truck for the JRC Sim Team up into 3rd. Now side by side between Jones and Conover. Conover on that low line in the number 17. Ronnie Norman just gets up behind Brian Jones.
Little bit of a chrome horn there.
Little bit of a taparoo from Ronnie Norman. Stephen Bremkamp loves that hard racing out there. You show him who's boss, he says. Let's go, Stephen Dombrowski. Also good to see Cody Height on YouTube checking in with us over in the YouTube chat. If you're out there, you're watching along, let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting on. We appreciate you joining us here tonight for a great one. As we watch Ronnie Norman now climb his way up into that top 4 positions now, racing underneath Cody Reeder. Here comes Stormin' Norman to the front. Is it too early to bring that one out?
Well, maybe a little bit. But
maybe a little bit.
I want to point it out. It wasn't intentional, I don't think, by Ronnie. I mean, it wasn't the contact that necessarily made Brian get loose there. The contact just kind of got him off of his game, and then coming off the corner, he was in the throttle too much and got loose. So Ronnie just playing mind games at that point. But yeah, this early, I don't think that was a chrome horn. It was just kind of I brake a little bit later. I didn't mean to. Sorry. You know, one of those incidents.
Well, definitely on short tracks, it's one of those things. It's difficult to gauge it. If somebody in front of you is maybe just getting on the throttle a little bit too late, or if they're getting a little loose coming off the corner, you know, you're gearing up to throw the throttle down as early as you can. And it can be really difficult to gauge exactly when is the perfect time. You don't know what's happening directly in front of you, so it's always a little bit of a guessing game when you're in this much traffic, and certainly when you're running at the front. I mean, everybody's pushing as hard as they can up here. If somebody gets a little loose coming off the corner, it's just as much of a chance. As we see, look at how close Eric Sable is to Tim Harper's rear bumper. There wasn't room for a piece of paper between them.
Yeah, if he wasn't touching him, he was very close. But, you know, Eric Sable, he is not a guy that's like Ronnie. Ronnie, you know, he's a clean racer, not very aggressive. Sable, on the other hand, he is not afraid to lay the chrome horn to Tim Harper here. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. You know, Cody Reeder, he was one that found out that Sable is a little bit aggressive. So we'll have to watch and see if that plays a factor. Has now, again, right there, a little bit of contact.
Well, we are coming up to it. Just 2 more laps remain till the end of stage number 2, and here comes Sable to the inside on Tim Harper. He sees the opportunity, and Sable stuffs it in there side by side. They march down into turn 3.
And I'm sure Timmy is saying, give me a break. You're not running for points. There's no need to be passing me. But, I mean, Sable is he has every right to be battling like this because he is trying to set himself for the end of the race. But a caution does come out
and
here.
The caution comes out, so if that locks it down, as you say, Sable going to get credit for taking that stage number 2. Tim Harper in second, Josh Conover in third, and it looks like, was it Brian Jones? I think maybe Brian Jones.
Some damage.
Well, we did have a momentary incident before that, but we'll take a look at this. This is Brian Jones on the inside of Cody Reeder.
Oh,
and
man.
That was the lap truck of Corey Raboyne.
You know, I'm going to call it quits. I'm just going to... This team.
Things going from bad to worse over at Full Send.
You are not kidding.
Well,
that's our luck this season, man. It's never our fault and we're always involved, but man. Brian Jones, the points leader. Oh, man.
That is a big, big incident to have happen here. And we'll now look on board as Brian Jones was underneath and just couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, man, he got some air there.
He did. It's like he had a little jump.
He wanted to go to the moon like Joey Stats did a couple weeks ago, but wasn't able to. Rockets weren't good enough.
Everybody wants to make the highlight reels here on VirtualRacing.Network in one way or another, but unfortunately for Brian, that's the wrong kind of highlight reel. He usually likes to be in victory circle, making those types of highlight reels, but oh my goodness me. Well, a number of drivers choosing to take the pit stop on this lap. We've got Brad Fulham bringing it in there out of the top 10. David McGuire on and off of pit road. Andrew Stabb, as you saw, involved in that incident. He's going to try to take on a little bit more service there. We were going to try to talk with Andrew, but I'm guessing now is probably not the time that he would want to talk. So let's see if we can catch up with someone else. I do see that Keegan Bitzer is bringing it into the pits here. And Brian Jones, oh my goodness, look at the damage on that machine.
If you're looking for someone to talk to, I don't think we've talked to Eric Sable yet this season. I don't think he's finished in the top 3, but you know he's always been up front.
Let's haul him up here. So we'll get a chance to talk right here on VirtualRacing.Network live to the race leader, Eric Sable, for just a brief moment. And there he is.
He's here.
In fact, the number 9 joins us here in the booth for a quick chat. Eric, fantastic run, and we saw you take the lead there with a dynamite move on Tim Harper. Congratulations. How's it feeling out there? And congratulations taking stage number 2.
It feels pretty good. I can thank the fresh 4 tires for that stage when because I ain't got no pace for these top running guys when they're all on fresh tires. So I'll take the stage win today and hopefully make a good finish out of it.
We got one more lap here until we go back to green. If you can get back in the right time to get the tires on that thing, you think the number 9 JRC Sim Team machine can take it to victory circle tonight?
Yeah, I should have had it a couple weeks ago, but we got entangled there. But hopefully we can take home the W here at North Wilkesboro. Would be a fantastic time. You know, this track isn't one of my favorites, but hopefully it's a blast for you guys to watch.
It is an absolute blast. It's great racing out there. Keep up the good work. Check in with you later, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. Enjoy the race.
You too. So that is Eric Sable checking in with us. Appreciate it, Christian. Great job getting him in and out, back to his team. And here we go. We're back set to go racing again. Hopefully we didn't give Sable the infamous commentator's curse. But here we go again at North Wilkesboro. On lap number 148, Sable out to the race lead. Harper and Conover racing it out for second place behind. There's also Sean Briscoe. That truck's beat up, but it's still ready to race. That number 39 might find its way onto the podium and perhaps up onto the top step before we end this one up tonight.
Yeah, he's got rear bumper damage, which isn't really effective here at a short track. You know, aerodynamics isn't going to really play a factor. So he's kind of lucky in that sense that he didn't damage the front bumper and only damaged the rear.
It's always interesting when you're saying, well, that half of the car is destroyed, but you know, it's still raceable. You know, that's short track racing for you. And Eric Sable right now, his truck is all pretty clean. So he's pretty lucky. Josh Conover, though, has managed to get up there into that second spot, but he's got Tim Harper, Sean Briscoe right there coming calling for that second spot. This has been some tight action up here at the front.
Yeah, this is Josh Conover's opportunity to nab a win and gain more playoff points than Brian Jones has. And potentially, if Brian Jones isn't able to recover from his accident, Josh Conover could take the lead in the point standings after tonight.
Well, Brian Jones is on that lead lap, so he did not lose a lap after that incident. There he is racing with the number 43 of Blake Freeman. So that is for 10th position. Blake Freeman up 14 places from where he started here tonight. So a good run for Freeman. First time we've seen him here on VirtualRacing.Network, but right now he's racing with the points leader. And unfortunately, though, for Brian, that thing's still got a bunch of damage on the front nose and on the back corner as well. So quite a bit of damage to that machine. Keegan Bitzer back here for Flatline in his Chevy, not having not having the type of Keegan Bitzer night that we've seen before, where he's up there kind of marching around the top 5 or so. He's right now he's racing in 12th spot. He's gained a few positions from where he started, but definitely he's going to be looking to get that Flatline Chevy a little bit further up there before too long. And here's Brad Fulham. He's still in this one in the full send Chevy, but he's back there in 15th position. He's got a long ways to get there to the front, and I think we just saw, I'm not sure who we just saw, but somebody was going around there. It kind of looked like it was Freeman who got a little loose.
It was actually Brian Jones again.
Was that Jones?
Yeah, he's back going straight, but he lost a lot of positions there.
I mean, again, the geometry on that truck cannot all be straight right now. It's just, you look at it and looks like it should be like hopping and dancing going down the track. So we'll see what ends up happening to him. In the meantime, back up front, no problem for Sable in his number 9 Ford for JRC Sim Team. 158 laps in, and this one is still looking good. He may be on the older tires, but he's got it pointed in the right direction, and he's staying ahead of Josh Conover. I know he's going to be looking forward to another yellow flag here before too long to get on those freshies.
I do want to make a correction. He actually didn't lose any spots. Those 3 trucks that are in front of Brian Jones are all a lap down, so he did not lose any spots on the track. points wise, but he did lose ground to the guy in front of him.
Well, better to lose ground. Oh, and there you see, I mean, I can't tell if that's just our connection, because sometimes that can happen where, you know, it looks like they go up and touch the wall, but they don't actually. But, I mean, that's Briscoe just scraping the wall there, putting off a little bit of white dust out into the air. And
I don't think he's quite getting into the wall, but he is getting really close as we got a battle for the lead. Josh Conover looking low on Eric Sable. He's going to make quick work, possibly. He's fighting back here on the outside.
Well, Conover, one of those drivers that can hold side by side as long as he needs to pull it off. And there he does manage to get it done, but he's a little slow getting off the corner. You know, Sable doing a good job of holding on that outside line and not giving him the all clear as far as the spotter goes. And that's kind of what you're listening for. You're listening for clear up above so that you could possibly drift up the track, take the high line if you're Josh Conover. But if Sable's able to hang in there, which he's now fallen back, but if you're able to hang in there just long enough, you can make that other driver stay down on the low line. But either way, right now, Sable now drifting back into that second spot. As mentioned, all three of these drivers coming in on exactly the same lap, so no difference in tires here. But we should be seeing some of these other drivers start to come forward here before too long that did make a stop.
And I tell you what, having Eric Sable behind Josh Conover, that's probably the best thing for him right now. Because as you can see, Sable, he runs for JRC Sim Team, and JRC happens to be Josh. So he kind of, he doesn't necessarily run the team, but he owns the team. So definitely a pretty big stable for Flatline and JRC Sim. As we see possibly more trouble for Brian Jones as he gets into the 43 here. Oh, man.
I mean, it's amazing because we were just watching Brian Jones do some pretty awesome stuff as we see Sean Briscoe's like kind of fading up the track there and really touching the wall. I mean,
that time he got the wall.
And there you see Ronnie Norman really struggling with the truck. I just, as Keegan Bitzer having an issue now, he's sitting backwards on the track on the backstretch. He backs that truck up.
I think you're going to see a lot of trucks in pit road here. I know we only have, about 85 to go. I know I'm saying only, but at a short track, that's pretty quick. I think you're going to want tires here, but I don't know if you necessarily need them if you're up front, because track position is pretty important. But I'm willing to bet that at least half the field pits here.
That very well could be the case as we are officially under our 10th caution of the night. It's definitely been a lot of cautions, but it's been a lot of great green flag racing as well. And I know that a lot of these drivers who want to take a little bit of extra repair, this is a perfect timing for them. But as you mentioned, now this is going to give a chance for any of these drivers that wanted those fresh tires. This is going to give everybody an equal playing ground for the very final stage of this race. So
I said half of them, everybody came that was on the lead lap.
Absolutely.
So, there might be one more stop before the end of this race, you know, depending on when the caution comes out, if the caution comes out. But there's no problem on fuel mileage within 90 laps to go. These guys can get about 120 laps on fuel. So there's no problem with fuel at the moment. But obviously tires, we saw there right toward the end of the run, everybody was starting to get loose. So you're going to want 4 tires if there's, you know, maybe a 30-lap green flag run and then a caution comes out, you're going to want tires for those last 50 laps or so.
Well, you see a number of these trucks still sitting here on pit road. And just speaking to what you were just talking about, Christian, was that being this far out too, if we do get a yellow flag towards the end of this race, that is going, I mean, like, let's say it comes in 40 laps. I do wonder how many people are going to decide to come in and get those tires versus stay out there for position, and that could be the call of the race right there. So we'll have to find out. I mean, again, there's nothing to say that we have to get another yellow. It could go green until the end, but a interesting timed yellow might provide some real interesting strategy for these drivers as we get close to the end of this one.
Yeah, and another strategy that might come into play, but I doubt it will, is taking right side tires. I messed with it in the cup cars, and it wasn't really much difference within the first few laps of the run, but after a couple laps, it was too hard to handle. So I'm curious to see if maybe the trucks are different. Maybe they like 2 tires. I don't know how these trucks are handling, but I've seen a lot of people get loose, so I don't think 2 tires is the way to go.
So we're going to delay one more time, and we'll wait for the pace car to lead this group around just one more time here at North Wilkesboro. But another fantastic race going on here in the NORA Truck Series, and it's been everything that it was cracked up to be. I mean, this track came back completely refurbished here very recently, and it was well worth the money that was spent, given a lot of great short track racing action. Races, I mean, it's hard to believe in some ways it's 0.6 of a mile. In fact, it's also really interesting that it's exactly 1 kilometer long. I wonder if they knew that was what was happening when they built it. But either way, fabulous racing here at North Wilkesboro. So great to have it back on the schedule. And so great to see Nora back here in action. Eric Sable leading us back into turn number 1 in the lead. Josh Conover in second. Timothy Harper in third. Sean Briscoe hanging on there in fourth on the inside. And Ronnie Norman taking a look on the outside. He's trying to get his truck up there into that top 5 as well. And of course, lest we forget, and we'll get more of a chance to talk about this tomorrow night during the truck race, but Ronnie Norman, the latest winner in the NORA Cup Series, as the 2 finishers that had finished the race ahead of him were disqualified for their actions and actually penalized, and as a result, Ronnie Norman presented the win from Darlington last week in the NORA Cup Series. So Norman, not only did he feel like he was having a good night, he had no idea that it was, he had some rough runs before that, but for him to come back after his trials at Kansas, Ronnie Norman now looking good here in the Truck Series, running in 5th place as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be a fun story for us to cover tomorrow night if I don't make it into the All-Star race. It'll be fun to talk about because that finish last week, man. Talk about exciting. A lot of people in NORA were going crazy about that. It was definitely one of the most exciting finishes I've seen in a while in NORA.
And controversial, a lot to talk about. Everybody on bated breath trying to find out how the rule book would be applied on that one, but very fair here in the NORA series, and like you said, we'll talk about it more tomorrow night, and hopefully we can get a series official to be able to talk with us and let us know exactly what went down and how that all took place. But either way, this has been a fabulous race as well. Great to have 2 historic raceways back-to-back. Last week Darlington, this week here at North Wilkesboro. Tim Harper, though, has slid back a couple of positions. He did qualify on the pole. This has been his night so far in the early stages, but now it looks like Eric Sable has found his way back to the front, and he may not relinquish this lead. He sounded unsure of whether he could hold on till the end, but I think he may just being able to get in and get those fresh tires, as he had mentioned during the caution when we talked with him. Sable now in good position to finish this one in the lead. Josh Conover, though, he may have something to say about it. Conover already with a couple of wins this season, and he knows how to make passes, as you mentioned already. Once he gets up there, it's his name on the team that runs Eric Sable. So I think Eric may just decide that it's better to not fight that battle, kind of let Josh on through. But we'll find out in due time. Tim Harper hanging on there, as I mentioned, in third. Sean Briscoe, despite a damaged machine, he's still hanging on. And you know what? I think Briscoe got a bit of that damage repaired.
Yeah, the truck looks a little better. That spoiler's not bent as much now. And you know, I was talking to Ronnie earlier this week. I think it was actually earlier today I talked to him. I asked him who he thought was going to win, and he said he has no idea. He said whoever's the most aggressive is going to win, but he doesn't know who that was. And I immediately said Eric Sable. You know, we've seen him multiple weeks getting into it with Cody Reeder for the lead. So he's very aggressive, and I thought, you know, this is a track that fits his style, so I thought Sable would win, and sure enough, he's out here in the lead, proving me right so far. Hopefully he can finish off the job.
Well, and it may come back to bite me to say this, but I would also put Josh Conover in that aggressive stable, but in a good way, you know, in a way that he makes his passes, he makes them stick. He's typically, like, nine times out of 10, he is... If he goes and does an aggressive maneuver, he's not at fault. He doesn't have, you know, it's not him if there's contact that's made. He's very calculated in how he makes his passes. So it's possible we could see Conover able to get up there. And I just mean he's able to make passes a lot of times when other trucks, they try for laps. Josh is just able to pick and slice his way through the field with relative ease. We've seen it so many times, too. I mean, he'll be stuck back in 12th, and he'll have to climb all the way through the field, and he'll be able to do it with ease. So, you know, but it's one thing to be doing that, going from 12th up to 5th. Eric Sable is another matter, and, you know, Eric does not have to give this position up, and certainly Josh would understand if Eric wants to win this one. Now, Josh is in good position right now, but we look back, and there's Brian Jones still out there racing on the lead lap. Despite all of that difficulty, Brian, the points leader, is currently in 9th place. And I was just going to say, you know, Josh right now might be kind of mentally keeping track of where Brian is, because it's all about just trying to get maximum points over Brian right now.
Yeah, two trucks that are, you know, possible championship contenders right now having a terrible night. You know, we got Brian Jones, and right behind him, Cody Reeder. You know, we usually see him in the top 3, not having the night that he's looking for as well here in the 85. So these guys trying to rebound from earlier mistakes, maybe not mistakes, but earlier trouble that they found themselves in. So interesting to see where that might round them out at the end of the night. But right now, Eric Sable still controlling the lead from Josh Conover, and it's kind of a lose-lose, or maybe a win-win for Josh, because, you know, in front of him is one of his drivers, not necessarily his driver, but an affiliate. So he kind of wants to see him win, but at the same time he wants to win. So we're going to see what's the priority for Josh.
Well, we take a look back here, a little bit further back. This is Christopher Heights. We're mentioning how well he's doing. The climber on the night, 18 positions gained in his Ford for Harper Motorsports. So Harper having good runs here, but Heights back there in 7th, and just trying to make this a really good, solid finish here. Torrance Shirts just in front for BS Motorsports, having a good run as well in 6th place, and he's up 5 positions so far. I'm seeing some smoke coming from somebody. I'm feeling like... I
believe that was Briscoe again, just kind of scraping the wall there on the backstretch.
My goodness, he loves to go up there and tell you. No, we do have... Is that McGuire?
Got an engine blowing.
I believe that's McGuire, indeed. Taking a look at McGuire. And I think that one has seen better days. Of course, he's got the Mr. Meeseeks helmet there. And Mr. Meeseeks is ready to go away. He's seen enough of this world. Unfortunately, the number 23 is going to go up on Jax, but that one is toast, Christian.
Yeah, and that engine damage I don't think came from contact. That might have been a money shift issue, or possibly just wear from going around so many times and into the wall. It seems like that might be terminal, but you never know here, because I thought Bryant Jones' damage might have been terminal, and he's still on the lead lap.
So as we are now working on lap 198, Eric Sable goes flying by our drone cameras out there on the track, and Josh Conover still sitting in second place. Conover looking for his opportunity to get by, but right now he's very patient. And Timothy Harper is right there as well. So, I mean, this has not blown apart, though you do see a bit of a gap there to Briscoe, and it looks like that was the 75 there of Stab, who gets up into the wall. So
yeah, he's just trying to stay out of the leader's way there, just staying as high as he can, not causing a roadblock at all.
And easier said than done on a little track like this here at North Wilkesboro. May give lots of room for racing, but when you're going a lap down, you got maybe a little bit of a damaged vehicle. Kind of difficult to stay out of everybody's way, especially when the high line is one of the preferred lines here. But it is interesting. We've gotten away from all of that side-by-side racing here as we've gotten into these late stages. It's kind of like single file. I think everybody just sort of settling into a groove here. Conover still sticking on the back end of Sable here, but I do wonder if Sable makes a slight mistake, if we're going to see Conover try to make that lunge forward and try to take that lead.
Yeah, that's all it's going to take is Sable just missing his line one lap, and then Josh is going to pounce. But, if Josh makes a mistake, Tim Harper is right behind him, so kind of a three-truck battle here as we now see Josh looking to the outside with a little bit of a pick of the lap car here. Sable going to go to the outside now and get around the lap truck here.
Well, I think if it had been just about anybody else, perhaps he might have tried to do that. It's the number 1 truck of Dylan Walterman. But that's always an interesting maneuver to utilize if you can. Try to trap the next car. And Walterman, once again, having issues. Brings it down onto the low line, but that truck almost got away from Walterman once again. And we saw what it did earlier as a couple of drivers had a real issue. There's Guylis sitting on pit road at the moment, so unfortunate for Guylis. But I think he's taking that one perhaps behind the wall. Sable, Conover, Harper, Norman, and Schertz. That's your top 5 here on lap 208. We've got just 42 laps remaining. Who is it going to be in Abby Sweet Treats Home Bakery Victory Circle discussion? We're going to find out, but it won't be Cody Dorsey, who has just had another incident. There's Dorsey, who's just in front of the leaders. Let's check this one out. Looks like he was racing there with the 43 truck. Blake Freeman, and brings it around, almost takes. I think that was Bremkamp who squeezed by, and there come the leaders around as well.
And I believe I just heard word that Cody Dorsey is actually parked for the remainder of this race, because NORA has a rule where if you cause 2 cautions, you're done for the race. So Keegan Bitzer was also parked for that reason, causing 2 cautions. So this is our second victim for the cause caution rule.
Well, as I was mentioning, this is that opportune moment as Josh Conover does not get out in front of Eric Sable, but he does manage to get out in front of Harper. But this was the moment that I was wondering if everybody would come into pit road to get tires, and sure enough, everyone does. Just long enough had gone that everybody decided it was perfect time to get in and get those final feel goods on their machine. So with that, we're going to take our own little break, and we will be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network. You won't miss anything. We'll be back for the remainder of this race. Stay tuned. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. The pace car is out. The green flag is up in the air, and we are back underway here with Eric Sable in the front, leading this group of Josh Conover, Timothy Harper into turn one once again. It's Torrance Schertz and Ronnie Norman just behind, side by side for Heights and Matthew George. Here comes Matthew George just right at the end of the race once again. Right up there into the front top 5 area, and he's going to have to follow his teammate Ronnie George there. Ronnie Norman. Actually, he's not his teammate here tonight, racing for the JRC Sim team, but going to have to follow Ronnie up there, and unfortunately now he slipped back a little bit more, so he's racing side by side with Heights once again. Things establishing quickly. Here comes Reeder on the outside.
Yeah, and I believe this is because of that right side damage that Matthew does have. The short run, probably not his strong suit with that damage, but long run, we should see him passing a few trucks once the tires equal out. But Cody Reeder making a pretty good move here on the outside of Matthew George there, and will clear him.
Reeder does manage to clear him, and George now falling prey. Hey, who's that? In 9th place there, well, it's none other than Brian Jones. He's reemerged back in the top 10. He's got a beat-up truck, but he's starting to sound like a country song. Got a beat-up truck and a and a pickup and he's got his dog, and he's marching forward here. Here comes Brian.
The dog, he's got a cat on the back.
He's got a cat. That's right. There you go. There's the semi grumpy cat on the back of Brian Jones's machine. But
that's pretty telling of how he feels tonight. I think he's a little grumpy with the night he's having. Indeed.
It's too bad it's upside down here in the camera, but you get the gist of it. Kind of grumpy cat, and I think Brian just doing everything he can to recover from this one, and I think what that's going to do is that's going to send a message up here to Josh Conover that he's going to have to get a move on, as Eric Sable's already working under some lap traffic here, but he's going to have to get a move on, and he's going to probably have to go up and challenge Sable for that top position if he wants to try to get points up on Brian back there in 9th place. So actually Brian now up into 8th place. So things changing quite quickly here. Brian already starting to move back forward. He's got Matthew George now in mind, just up in front. And he'll start to size him up here. Take a look down to the inside.
Did I miss something? Where is Briscoe? He was in the top 10.
Well, that's a good question. He's now a lap down.
Man, I was just about to say, great recovery from being involved in that wreck last week to come out here and run in the top 10, but something happened to him and he went a lap down.
No, I don't have any notes here that shows him crashing or having other issues. You'd have to wonder if it could be something as simple as speeding on pit road or something like that. No, I do see. Wait a minute. I've got something here. This was Sean Briscoe jumping to the pits.
Oh, he might have DC'd for a lap.
He did disconnect. So, yeah, and then he appears in the pits. So,
man,
unfortunate for Sean Briscoe, because there was nothing that preceded that. It just says jump to the pits, which normally you'd see that he had crashed, it's just indicating that he's actually gone slow enough that it triggers that as a crash. So with no note like that, it would certainly indicate that he did have a disconnect. I was going to say, if there wasn't that and I couldn't locate it, it could have been as simple as something like being held on pit road for a hold, or having to do maybe having like an illegal pit out or something like that, where you have to come back in through the pits again. But
right,
either way, poor running there for Briscoe to end up with a computer issue, network issue that takes him out of the running for the front end of this race. And just, it's more bad luck for Briscoe. It seemed like when we first started broadcasting the league, a few races ago, it was all Briscoe this, Briscoe that, each and every week. It seemed like he could do nothing wrong. And then just the last few races have been just disaster for Briscoe.
Yeah, it was mainly Briscoe and Brian Jones, and both of them having rough nights. And this is all working out in Josh's favor to try to get the points lead. He's going to pull away from Briscoe now, being that he is in second. So Josh just needs to run it clean. You know, he's got Timmy Harper behind him, kind of an aggressive driver. I don't think if, you know, in the late stages, if Timmy's got a little bit of a faster truck, I don't think racing him is the right call. I think just letting him by and finishing top 3 is the right call here late in this race.
Well, with just 22 laps remaining, it is Eric Sable's race to win. If he can stay out there in front of Josh Conover and we can stay green, I think this one might be in Sable's bag at the end of 21 more laps to go here. Sable doing a fabulous job of running his truck here tonight at North Wilkesboro. Conover holding on strong in second place. He hasn't been a challenge for the first spot yet, but we're not done yet, so we'll see if there's anything still left up the sleeve of old Josh Conover for Flatline. Timothy Harper, he qualified on the pole, and he was looking fabulous, but hey, as we get to this 20 to go here, presented by Snyder Graphics, there's a lot of great wraps in the field here tonight, and certainly this one looks excellent here for Eric Sable, running that classic Mobil 1 paint scheme out in front. Josh Conover in second, always looking fabulous with the Hendrick Motorsports machine. And as I mentioned, Tim Harper there in third. But hey, you know, we've got, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. The top 4 drivers are 4 different teams, and that should say a lot about the competitiveness here in the NORA Truck Series. Great racing, great action, and always awesome stuff to watch here in NORA.
Yeah, and 2 different manufacturers represented in that top 4 as well, actually in the top 2. You know, we don't have that many Toyotas here in the league, but they're being represented usually by Sean Briscoe up toward the front, but obviously with that DT, he is the highest running Toyota back in, I believe, 13th.
Well, if anybody needs any wraps for their NASCAR machines, certainly they know where to go. Snyder Graphics, Facebook.com/Snyder Graphics, the place to go. And also you can reach them over on Discord as well. Christian Snyder, proud presenting sponsor of the 20 to go segment for Snyder Graphics. And hey, this has been a great one here tonight. We're not quite through it yet, but here comes Josh Conover. Is he going to come calling? There is Tim Harper sitting in third. He's very close to this one. And Torrin Schertz is not very far back as well. Ronnie Norman. All of these drivers have a shot at this one before it's over here.
Yeah, Josh Conover making this thing interesting. Maybe saved his tires a lot more than Eric Sable. He has run him down and is now right on the bumper here. Eric Sable, I think the move is going to just be mirror drive at this point if you're going to want the win. Because, I mean, Josh can run the inside or the outside. So it's going to be interesting to see how he makes that move. As you can see, Josh trying the outside here in 1 and 2. Going to diamond it, come down to the bottom. Just not good enough of a run that lap there.
Go on board with Josh Conover, and he is giving it everything he's got as we're just about to get 10 to go here at the line this next time by Barney the Flagman. It's anyone's race here at the end. We've got Tim Harper hanging on tight for third. Conover sticks his nose down on the low line. He's just sending a message up there to Eric Sable to say, I'm here, I'm ready to attack. And Tim Harper is right behind. We see a truck well out of the way there, just giving lots of room for these 3 to race on. A blanket covering these top 3 as we now are under 10 laps to go, and Conover almost into the back of Sable. as Sable a little slow to get off the corner.
Yeah, and that's just difference in lines. Josh is having a higher entry and then being able to arc it off the exit. Has more momentum coming off the corner than got really close there that last lap. As you can see, all three of these trucks right together, bumper to bumper. This is the type of finish that we're looking for in NORA, and this is going to be a wild one again this week.
8 laps remain, Christian. It's anyone's race. The top 3 running very close together. This is about as tight of a truck race finish as we have come to see here. 7 laps to go. Is Josh going to be able to get it done? He sticks his nose on the high side there of Sable. I think he's just trying to bait Sable into covering that high line so that he can go back to the low line. Seems to be the way
he does here.
Seems to be a maneuver that Conover likes to try to do. But so far, Sable hasn't bit, and he hasn't given enough of a gap to just let Josh roll on through. But before too long, we might see a little bit more of this dynamic action. Here comes Harper trying from third to try to put a nose on Conover. Not able to get it done, and they're closer than ever with just 5 laps remaining.
Yeah, and Josh running this high entry into the corner. He gets a good arc off, but Tim Harper, he's underneath him that time, wasn't able to get a good enough exit. He's going to block that move from Tim Harper that time. He's going to take the bottom away from Tim. And now that's kind of allowed torn shirts to get into this. It's 4 trucks now.
We've now got 4 trucks vying for the top positions in this race with just 4 laps to go. You'd think we were looking at the first lap of the race. There goes Conover. No, he doesn't. Conover thinks about it, but every lap he thinks about it, the other trucks get closer from behind. It's Conover who could try to stuff it underneath Sable at any point here, but here comes Tim Harper. Is he going to have a lunge? Conover pulls it back down.
Block.
He's got a block, indeed. Harper gets stuffed up a little bit, but I think Harper's now going to get a run off the corner. No, he doesn't. He gets stuffed a little bit, and that hurts Conover as well. Is Conover going to just send it? I mean, 2 to go here. It's going to be 1 to go next time by. Who will it be at the line? Are we going to see another dramatic finish?
Oh, man.
White flag is in the air.
Going into turn 1 here. Sable going to protect the bottom. Josh Conover trying on the outside here. He gets a little bit loose there. I don't think he's going to get him here in turn 3 and 4.
He opened that door for Tim Harper, so Harper tries to take advantage of it. Is it Harper that's going to get second because Conover tried to get first?
Oh, man, that was close.
I think Tim Harper gets it in second place, and he just manages to save that truck from wrecking at the line, but it was none other than Eric Sable for the JRC Sim team, who holds on and defends excellently well in the final 20 laps to take victory here at North Wilkesboro. Fabulous stuff. We're going to catch our breath for a second and reset. Get ready for our post-race interviews. We'll be right back here with your official finishing order, and we'll get a chance to chat with your top finishers in the Abbey Sweet Treats Home Bakery Victory Circle. Stay tuned here on VirtualRacing.Network. We'll be right back. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. It was a wild one at the finish. We saw 4 trucks vying for that final position on the podium, but it was none other than Eric Sable who took stage number 2, and he held on all the way through stage number 3. He didn't think he could quite do it, but he did manage to hold on, and Eric Sable able to take victory here tonight at North Wilkesboro. Congratulations to him. We'll get a chance to talk with him in a moment. Timothy Harper for Harper Motorsports. He thought it might be his night to take first, but second place will have to do. He does take Josh Conover at the line as Josh Conover made that attempt on Eric Sable, and that opened the door. Timmy Harper getting a great run here tonight into second place. Josh Conover for Flatline Motorsports. He'll have to settle for third, and that we'll have to see how the points work out after this week, because that one loss of position could mean the difference between taking over the points lead or not over Brian Jones, as Brian Jones had a difficult night, finishing back in 7th place. Torrance Schertz taking 4th. Ronnie Norman taking a 5th place here. Another top 5 for Ronnie. Great finish for him tonight. Cody Reeder in 6th. Brian Jones in 7th. Matthew George back in 8th place, but I can't tell you how many races in a row that has been a top 10 for Matthew George. I mean, it may not be all top 5s, but he always knows how to get up into that top 10 at the end of the race. Christopher Height, he had a great race running tonight. He passed a lot of trucks. He did end up in the top 10 in 9th place. Jacob Gladelich in 10th. 11th going to Blake Freeman. 12th to Brad Fulham. That's the top full send finisher tonight. Craig Schroeder in 13th. Sean Briscoe, my goodness, it's if he couldn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all. Tonight, really a difficult night for a guy that was just leading the points not long ago. He continues to fall down through that points order after this week. Andrew Stab in 15th place. Mark Bremkamp 16th. David McGuire in 17th. And that is also... Let's see, Dylan Walterman there in 18th. Keegan Bitzer in 19th. Corey Raboyne in 20th. Cody Dorsey in 21st. Nick Geilis in 22nd. Todd Slauson 23rd. Brady Motes in 24th. Chad Engel in 25th. And really, Chad and Corey Danielson didn't get in many laps here tonight. Unfortunate for them. Brady Motes living up to that name of his team, Ready to Wreck Racing. And so... with that, we're going to get a chance to chat with our top finishers. And I believe first one up, Christian, you had a chance to chat or to catch up with Josh Conover.
Yeah, just caught up here with Josh Conover. Josh, what a incredible finish. I mean, not the position you wanted, but you sure made that exciting with a last lap move there to the outside of Eric. Ultimately didn't pay off, but tell us what was going through your mind there those last 3 laps that you guys were battling there.
I wish it was the Cup car. I mean, you obviously know, Chris, just from me following you and just knowledge of how the trucks are. If I would have laid the bumper to him, it would have sent him, and it would have handed Timmy the win. So after just knowing that, didn't want to get into him, wanted to try and run clean. Not really going to blame Timmy, but I feel like if we could have stayed single filed out a couple times, like he poked his nose in, we probably could have got there sooner and maybe done something with it. But yeah, I don't know. I was telling Ronnie and Eric and all them, I didn't get loose hardly at all that run, and then I moved up to the second gird right there, and it just wanted to snap. So it is what it is, I guess. Top 3 and good points, I guess.
Well, I saw you doing the high entry into the corner and then kind of diamonding it and coming off low. It seemed to be working, but like you said, Timmy kept poking his nose underneath you every time you tried to go up high. So, I mean, it was still a great finish. I mean, 6 1,000ths of a second at the line between you and Tim Harper. So, I mean, you guys made it wild, even though maybe these trucks not handling as good as the Cup cars. But is there anyone you want to give a shout out for your top 3 podium here tonight?
Well, I'll just say too, it's not so much the handling, it's just, I guess, I don't even know if it'd be like a netcode instance or something, because like for instance tomorrow, especially in the open, I'm sure you'll see bumpers getting laid out by everybody and, you know, guys wanting to qualify in, but they can take it. I could drive in, not lift, and slam somebody tomorrow night, and 9 times out of 10 they won't spin. But you can come run a truck here, and I won't even say touch somebody. Like, you're not even touching them yet, and they just go spinning, doing 360 to the outside wall. So no, and like I said, I'm not mad at Timmy for putting his nose in there. It's obviously his right. He was quicker a couple laps and wanted to make the move. It's just like I said, I think had he not, we could have gotten there sooner and maybe tried something different with Eric. I don't know. I wanted to go green, and it did. I know the run right before that, Eric kind of cooked his tires. I think he was about 5% worse than what I was, and I think it showed towards the end of that run. We started catching him again, but that just kind of hurts. I feel like when we were out front, we were the quickest truck, and then even throughout that last run, we were clicking off some of the quicker laps, in the top 10, but can't win them all, and that seems to be my my trend this year. I think I have 1 stage win, if that, and just my 1 or 2 race wins, but I don't know. Maybe one night the stars will align and I'll get it. I will say too, I feel bad for Briscoe. I know he was running, I think, 4th or 5th, and then he fell through. I hate that for him. I think he was 2nd or 3rd in points. We should retain that, but always feel bad for that. But to answer your question, since I ranted for a little bit, thank you guys for the broadcast. I'll go back and watch it for sure. I know got a little caution fest-y, at times, but it was a loose setup tonight, which is nice. I think it definitely helped. I think if it was tighter, you would have saw more of like a one line, half the bumper to pass, to whereas like now you could kind of run that second line if you had to, or run the bottom if you missed the bumps right and got the truck rotated. Timmy ran me clean. Obviously we had issues last week, but I tried to hold grudges, and we ran clean tonight. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night with the All-Star race. But congrats to Eric on the win. There's hoping it was gonna be me, but like I said, if anybody deserved one, it was Eric. He's had good speed the past couple weeks, and started running for points last week, and second race in he's got a win. So I think that makes it 6-point guys with wins. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get to that lucky number 10 and make it interesting to get into the playoffs.
Well, you speak of lucky number 10. Do you think that might come next week at Charlotte?
It's possible. I mean, I've talked, with Nick, and I think even yourself at times. If you look at the guys that have shown speed that haven't won yet. I mean, granted, Reeder's already in the playoff hunt, but he hasn't won yet. Briscoe has shown plenty of speed. Actually, I don't think he's actually won a stage yet this year, but he's got plenty of stage points. He hasn't won yet. So, with Eric winning, I think we're at 6 now. So those two right there would be, 7, 8. Torin, I'll say I stole one from him at Texas earlier in the year, so he'd be 9. And even Timmy, Timmy easily could have won tonight. When he was out front, he was quick. That would have, that'd be 10 right there. So I think it's possible. Anything can happen. It'd definitely be a first for us. I don't think we've ever had every playoff spot locked up by winners, but it can happen. Like I said, Timmy easily could have won tonight when he was out front. He was quick, but I think that was actually, kind of the trend too, though, because I know when I was out front in the beginning, I was, quick, and then like I said, he got out front, he was quick. Same with Brian, and obviously Eric too. So we'll see. I kind of hope it does, because then it makes the playoff points matter that much more. But I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting the rest of the season, and we wish you good luck next week at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Thank you. Before I go, I will say, if you do run the Open, Trevor, make sure your camera's on that Christian Slider machine. He told me earlier he was going to lay some bumpers, and he was either getting in or he was wrecking trying.
We'll watch for that. It'll be exciting. No matter what happens, we'll get a camera on that and everyone else. It'll be a blast tomorrow night.
We ain't race for nothing tomorrow, boys. You're going to see some tempers flaring and some bumpers laying on the track, I'm sure.
You'll be doing North Wilkesboro and all those legends out there a proud try tomorrow night. So we'll look forward to that. Great run tonight, Josh. We'll see you tomorrow, my friend. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. So absolutely awesome. Always talking with Josh. Disappointed in second place. You can hear it in his voice. He really wants those wins, Christian. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and get a chance to catch up with the guy who came in second. qualified on the pole, ran some great laps out there tonight, and he had a lot of smoke in there for the end of this race. He laid it on Josh Conover, one of the toughest guys out there in the field at the end. And Tim Harper joining us now in Abby Sweet Treats Home Bakery Victory Circle discussion. Hey, Tim, awesome job getting a second place tonight. It's one of the best races that you've looked at here on VirtualRacing.Network. How did it feel to you?
I mean, the truck felt great. The track was a little hotter than I wanted it to be. It was 127-degree track temp out there, and I wish it was at least in the 110s. But other than that, I mean, I felt like I had a good long-run truck. I couldn't really do nothing with Josh or Eric on the short run, but unless I got out to the lead. I feel like the dirty air is what caused me to not be able to pass in the short run there.
Well, you gave it, certainly there at the end, you gave it everything that you could going inside, outside, and Josh took a chance to try to get by Eric, and that opened the door for you to get by him. And you just barely squeaking by there at the very end and just barely nabbing that position. But talk about how greasy it was out there on the track tonight and how much those new tires meant to you. Did you feel like in the long run you had the truck that if you could get a long enough green stint that you'd be able to win this race, or did you feel like shorter runs on new tires was better?
Me personally, I felt like the longer run was better. Like if we would have had 20 more laps in this one, I feel like I could have got to the point there, and unless I was out front. But just the long run just really is what I was looking forward to, and I had an extra set of tires compared to Josh and Eric, but I ran out of laps to be able to get the cautions, so I didn't get any luck tonight, but I still manned it out and was able to get Josh in the last corner. So.
Well, and it had to feel pretty good to get that number 99 Harper Motorsports Ford out there in front of everybody for a while, get that new pay-to-win sponsor out there as well. I mean, it felt good to be up there in the lead for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank Pay-to-Win for bringing me onto their team as well, and I started with them last week, and I got 6 wins here at North Wilkesboro. So I really look forward to tonight, and thought I had a pretty good truck and could save my tires while driving. As you saw, I was entering a little bit lower than Josh and Eric. I mean, I wasn't going high and entering it. I was just entering low and could, keep it where it would match up to the rear tires there.
Well, and there, as you were saying, it's no fluke. You getting to run a lot of races here, and you came in ready to go. You took pole position. You gave it a heck of a run for your team there at Harper Motorsports, and it's got to give you a lot of promise for the rest of the season here in NORA. And of course, we'll see you out there again tomorrow night to give it your all and try and do everything you can in the All-Star race.
Yeah, that's one thing I haven't done. I haven't drove the Cup cars here, so I don't have a clue how they'll feel, so I have to do a little bit of practice. But hopefully we can go out there and win tomorrow. I know it's not a points race, but hopefully we can get a win and get some momentum going into Charlotte. Charlotte next week. It seems like every year at Charlotte I always get the pole there, and I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm kind of hoping for 2 straight poles maybe, but we'll see. I know there's a lot of fast guys in here that can easily get the pole.
Well, excellent run tonight. Anybody else you'd like to thank before we roll on with the broadcast?
I just want to thank Pay to Win and y'all for putting on the broadcast, you and Chris, and I want to thank my mom, and just thank everybody that watches me, and thank all my teammates for sticking with it and toughing it out even if they get wrecked. So.
Well, it's our pleasure, and of course you put on a great show tonight, and you managed to get by one of the toughest guys out there, Josh Conover. I mean, I think that's some pretty astounding stuff, and certainly speaks well to your talent and what we might see of you here coming in the future. But good luck next week, and of course good luck tomorrow night. We'll see you tomorrow, and maybe we'll be talking to you after the race tomorrow night as well.
Alrighty, I appreciate it.
Sounds good. There's Timothy Harper joining us from second place. And now we're going to get a chance to chat with the man of the evening. Of course, we're talking about the number 9 from JRC Sim Team, Let's bring him in here. We got him. There we go. Thanks, Christian. Number 9, Eric. Eric Sable. An awesome run here tonight. You know, we talked to you during that stage caution, and you know, just had a chance to say that you were looking solid out there, and you said, well, I don't know how this is going to shake out. I think some of these guys have good tires behind me, and I just don't know about the long-term pace of this thing. Maybe I can hold on. Well, Eric, you did an awesome job in that final stage. You held off many challenges there in the last 20 laps from Josh Conover. It just seemed like you just were able to stay one little step ahead of Josh. And either way, congratulations on victory. Hell of a run tonight.
Yeah, what a race it was, definitely. Just want to thank you guys, of course, VirtualRacing.Network, for putting on this broadcast week in, week out. You guys do a fantastic job. I love watching the broadcast, but throughout the race, yeah, I didn't think I had much pace for these guys. There's a lot of talent here. You know, I know I'm up there in the top 5, but I mean, I was sitting there in practice. I'm like, there's no way. Like, I was running. I just couldn't get consistent with myself. But at the end there, Josh was all over my bumper. He was definitely faster than me the last 10 laps, and I was just holding him off because I was sideways off the corner. I'm like, there's no way I can hold on to this. But I did. And you know what? I'm happy as hell sitting here with a smile on my face to finally get a win after the rough couple weeks I've had here.
Well, and it hasn't, I mean, we saw you come in and, you know, taking pole position, and everything seemed to be going perfect. And then, like you said, a little bit of a slowdown for you. But, I mean, still, you know, holding up there in the top 5 through the majority of the race and leading at different points. But here tonight, you know, you started kind of a little bit further back. You started in 8th place. Again, not where we're used to seeing you starting these races. And yet you were methodical. You kind of moved up into the top 5. It looked like you were being patient, just waiting for things to sort of sort themselves out. Now, did the heat and the track and how slippery it was getting, we heard from Tim Harper about how that affected him. Was that part of the role for you tonight? Were you just kind of feeling things out before you thought about moving up there to the front? And at what point did you feel like, hey, I might actually have the truck to win here tonight? I don't know what's going on, but I could win this one.
Yeah, the hot temperatures at this racetrack and the abrasive surface that we run here, you know, definitely plays a factor in the tire wear. And, you know, within the 40-lap run we had, like, we were really struggling, just lightly putting the foot down on the pedal. So, yeah, I would say the track and the temperatures played a factor. And, you know, I was trying to learn, and I finally was putting a little bit more wheel in the corner, and it was helping me, but I was burning my tires up. You know, I told Josh at the end of that one caution before he went green there for the last stint there, but there was the long run speed was not there in this number 9 Mobil 1 Ford F-150. So I'm happy, like I said, if there was 5 more laps in this race, either Josh or Timothy Harper would have had this in the bed. So I'm lucky it ended when it did, but a win is a win when you get one, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, this is, again, you'll have to win by a fraction of an inch, and you won by, you know, over a car length. So able to hold on there and really, I think if Josh, I mean, he showed that if he could have gotten under you, if he could have gotten position on top and make that high line work, he would have tried to take that position. But you just were able to stay enough in front that you just didn't give him that opportunity to really get a nose under or on top of you there. But hey, awesome run here tonight, Eric. Anybody you'd like to thank for this victory?
Well, first and foremost, I thank you guys at the beginning. I'm gonna thank you guys again for putting on a great broadcast week in and week out. Everybody on my team, you know, we communicate well throughout the race, and you know when we're in a pit and this and that and the other thing. So everybody on my team, everybody in this lead is an all around. It's an enjoy to be around all these guys. But I'm happy I came to this lead. I'm having a blast, and you know, wouldn't try to go for 2 in a row in Charlotte.
Well, I think that's a noble gesture. We'll see if you can do that next week. Do you get to run tomorrow night in the Cup Series in the All-Star race, in the Open?
No, I won't be able to make it due to my work schedule. So you'll see me back again probably for the truck race at Charlotte, and I'm gonna try to make the big race in the Cup car at Charlotte as well.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we'll see you next week, my friend, and good luck in the meantime at work tomorrow, but I'm sure you'll be watching along. We do appreciate your kind words about the broadcast, and we always love covering you. You're one of the most exciting parts now of the NORA Truck and Cup Series, and good luck next week there at Charlotte as well.
Thanks, man. Hopefully everybody that watched this race tonight enjoyed it. I definitely behind the wheel enjoyed it, and I would guess you guys, enjoyed it as well. So once again, week in and week out, thanks for what you guys do, and I can't wait to be back here at Charlotte.
We'll look forward to it. That is Eric Sable, who takes victory here. It was an awesome one in North Wilkesboro, a fabulous racetrack. And Christian, tonight, this track really provided just as much as we could have ever hoped for in terms of racing. 2 wide, 3 wide racing. We saw guys be able to run the high line, the low line, and make passes. This was just something else to watch tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't able to correctly predict that they were going to be three wide. I mean, I thought it was going to be single file around the bottom, and that outside wasn't going to work. But it seemed like it was the place to be. But I think this is the first time I've ever gone into a race and I picked somebody before practice that could win the race, and they actually go on to win. So kudos for me for picking the right guy to win.
Well, fantastic job, as always, by our prognosticator, Christian Snyder. But here you can see on your screen the Abby's Sweet Treats Home Bakery that this has all been brought to you by here tonight. We got all the cookies, the brownies, the cake pops, the Oreo pies, the mermaid cookies for birthdays. I saw some more birthday cookies on the Facebook as well for Abby Sweet Treats Home Bakery. And there's the number, there's the email address, and of course hop on over to the Facebook page. I know you can put in your order, she'll send you an invoice, and you can pay for it all online, and they'll ship them off to you. Again, looking forward to getting my cookies, and I'll have photos posted of them as soon as I do. And you know what, Christian, this was everything I could have hoped for. Thoughts on next week at Charlotte, and obviously tomorrow night, if you think we're going to see anything different in the Cup Series.
Oh, well, tomorrow night you're going to see something different. You're going to see a lot of bumping, like Josh said, and a lot of it's probably going to be me. So tomorrow is going to be exciting for me to be back racing. But next week, Charlotte, I absolutely love that track. I think that's one of the tracks that I've won at here. It might have been Texas. I know it was one of those cookie cutter, quad ovals. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Charlotte. Can't wait. I know there's a lot of patriotic schemes, being that it's Memorial Day weekend, I believe. So can't wait to see those. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. That'll be next week here on VirtualRacing.Network, but of course you won't want to miss tomorrow night the NORA Cup Series. The next gen series will be out there on the track, and it should be a blast just like tonight. So on behalf of my announcer friend, Christian Snyder, and all of the admin team and the rest of the competitors here of the NORA Truck Series, we wish you a great evening. Get some good sleep, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow night at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time for the NORA Cup Series. If you're not already a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure to like this video if you can. It helps us out, and it helps you out as well. We'll see you here tomorrow night. Until then, so long, everyone. Have a great night.